Hey guys, Spidey here, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. I know that I am. I know that Manu is because of who we have on the channel tonight. We got Naj herself. And I've been thinking, like, how do I introduce her? But there's a really good chance you already know who she is because I mean, she just won CGC's TikTok Influencer of Comic Books Award.
Yeah.
Manu, I don't know about you, but I don't have any awards that I can boast about tonight.
I haven't gotten any yet. Nope. This is our
Mm,
award.
This
This
is
is
our
us
award.
winning this evening. Yes.
Hi.
Wow, that is so true. This is our
Thank
award.
you.
So we have Naj on
Thank
the channel, and
thank you.
Naj, this is your first time, even as a significant influencer that you are, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, your channel and TikTok, they speak for themselves, right? But this is your first time like doing something live like this, right?
It is first time on YouTube, yes. You know, a real chat. Well, I mean, I have a couple of lives before on Instagram where I was very fun, but that was a while ago.
That
It's been
was
a
a
while.
while ago. Well, for those who don't know, it's not nighttime where you're at. Like me and Manu, we're sitting here and it's the end of our day, but for you, it's the beginning of your day, right? So you want to tell
Yeah,
everybody where you're at?
I am in England. I am in the south of England. So here it is now 3 in the morning. Good morning, everybody.
3 in the morning.
3 in
Good
the morning.
morning, Naj.
So,
This is how much it needs to be done in this channel right now. Like, I am willing to wake up 3 in the morning to be with my friends, and I would not do that for other people.
oh
So
wow,
I think like thank you so much, Justin. Thank you, Manu, for inviting me here. You're amazing. And I watched your previous couple lives, and I was like, I'm jealous. I want to be part of this party, you know. So thank you
well,
for letting me.
well, now it's a party. We got all three of us.
Now it's a party.
It's
Thanks a lot.
awesome. Thank you. I feel really honored, and I know Manu does as well. And you're being respectful to your family. It is 3 a.m. in the morning, so you're not yelling and screaming at us. So
Oh, not too.
that's good. Well, we also got some friends in the chats. We got hand for letters in the chat. Hello,
Hello.
Tort is here. Always good to see you, man.
Tort.
Yeah, Swami, what is up? I love Swami. Swami, big Pokemon guy, has made a move into Marvel cards as well. All around,
Nice.
very, very knowledgeable. Very, very knowledgeable.
Awesome. Awesome.
And we've got I Love Podcasts. Hello, good to have you back. Hey, this is your friend, isn't this Andrew?
This is Andrew. This is Andrew. He says, Naj, you look fresh as a daisy. Could have fooled us. No one can tell it's 3 a.m. over there.
Why are you so kind? I just woke up literally. I feel like a zombie. I always feel like a zombie.
Right.
So thank you so much.
Hey, Faith and Misery's here. I have to tell you, Faith and Misery was like one of the first people to ever comment on any of my YouTube
Oh,
videos.
nice.
I will always remember it. Faith and Misery. It's really good to have you here tonight.
A
Want you to know
pleasure.
that I remember that. And we're talking about, all the way back to 2020. Yeah, 2020, November 2020 is when I started doing YouTube. Oh, and my buddy William, he's in Cali with you.
William,
Uh,
what's going on?
yeah, he's in the San Diego area. Always good to have him in the chats. And then, guys, this is my dad, Leon Underwood. We call him Papa Juju. He says
No way.
triple threat tonight.
Papa Juju, what's up?
Yeah, in Sin Cities. Oh, so good. So good to have everybody here in the chats. Well, look, I'm really excited. I just was been thinking about, is this going to happen? Is Naj going to come? Didn't really give a lot of thought about, hey, what are we going to talk about? So, yeah. Well,
Well,
so so everyone in the chats, obviously, if you got anything you want to ask Naj or us, like we're here for you. This is just as much your show as it is ours. But Naj, has there been anything on your mind that you've been like looking forward to chat with us about?
I am looking forward to learn. It's been the last couple episodes where you were having the chat. I actually learned a lot, especially about the cards. I know nothing about the cards, and I already mentioned that I am really tempted to buy my first graded one, and I am really tempted to learn a lot about this because I really want to make some investments in the cards.
And
So
and
like
and the
whatever.
character that you like, can I say,
Yeah, of course.
is black symbiote suit, black suit Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And oddly enough, there's really not a ton of his cards. There are some for sure, but there's not a ton. But what is out there is actually pretty cool, and I've got a couple in mind for you that I'm thinking about. And one of them goes all the way back to 1990, then what we call the 90MU or Marvel Universe or Impel Marvel Universe. There's
Mm-hmm.
a there's a black suit Spidey in there that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's an iconic card, that one.
Yeah. Now those generally you want to have them graded in the PSA 10, and I actually am staring at the notification from PSA telling me that my packages are on the way. I've got two big reveals of 65 cards and 23 cards, I think it is. So that should be hopefully here by Friday.
Does that mean you know the grades?
Yes.
Okay, we'll wait then. We'll wait.
I couldn't help but look. I mean, I submitted these at the end of February of last year.
Oh,
So it's been
I
a
would
year
look.
and 3 months.
I would look here if we must last a lot. Yeah, I won't wait for a surprise. I
That's a
never
long
had
time.
unboxing ever from graded companies. Never. I always ask for the grades. So my person is always like, of course you want to know the grades. Here are the grades. I'm like, thank you so much. I can't wait.
I thought I was going to wait on this one, to be honest with you. But as soon as they were available, I was like, no, I have to see. I've been waiting so long.
So
The
I think
What's that, Manu?
oh, I was gonna ask if that wizard card, the die cut wizard card, it's in that submission,
Yes.
the one that you know the grades of.
Yes.
Are you gonna sell that card?
Yeah. Let's see the grade first.
All right, all
Let's
right.
show it off. Yeah. So I did, to Manu's point, Wizard Magazine used to include a trading card in a lot of their magazines. And because Todd McFarlane and Image was, those two really grew together in a sense. Wouldn't you agree, Manu? Wizard and Image Comics.
Oh, absolutely. And to add to that, something
Mhm.
interesting that I didn't know is Gareb, the founder of Wizard. He
Mhm.
is actually the person that took this famous photograph of Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, and the rest of the gang that started Image together on the first day of them like moving into their new office. There's a picture on Todd
Wow.
McFarlane's page, and it's actually taken by Gareb, and Gareb is the founder of Wizard. They were all growing together. They are very much responsible for one another's endeavor. Like not responsible, but definitely a part of each other's success at that time. It's a really cool sort of ecosystem that they created at that time.
I have a sense that Wizard really helped Image, in my opinion.
It absolutely did. I agree completely. It absolutely did. I mean, Wizard helped a lot of things, but
Mhm.
I mean, Wizard and Image do go hand in hand. Like they both exploded and grew at the same time, and you know, a lot of the audience that's responsible for that, it's a lot of the same people. It's us. You
Yeah.
know, we did that.
But how smart was Todd? He's like, you know what? I'm going to give you this amazing masterpiece of a first cover, right?
Right.
And what
Right.
did he get in return? They were married together. So Image was a
Yeah.
part
Oh
of their
yeah.
articles. You see the top 10 comic books. There's a Wizard magazine always up there, close to number one. Like
Yeah.
I think they definitely, it was symbiotic, but they definitely helped each other. But these
Nice
cards,
choice of words.
yeah, you can't have one without the other, right?
No.
And these cards would come in there, and they were pretty well made, in my opinion. These
The
Wizard
wizard
cards.
cards were really great, especially the chrome ones. They were made
Mhm.
extremely well. Naj, tell you she got a wizard card story recently, actually, which she'll
Uh
tell you.
oh, I want to hear it.
so I was just minding my own business on eBay.
Is that how that works?
That's the tagline now.
Just strolling through
I'm
eBay,
always,
minding my business.
I'm always on eBay minding my own business, sometimes on Instagram. But this card appeared, and I didn't know what it is. I didn't know it's a card. It just showed up there using, my whatever, my
Mhm.
search data or information that I normally search. And that card said on it like McFarlane Santa Claus, and it has the very funny Santa Claus looking very cute. And I saw that it's a leaflet. I didn't know that it's a card. I mean, it didn't say a card on the first one that appeared on my eBay. Um, and I started like trying to look for one of these, And then I found out that it came with the Wizard magazine. I think in particular Wizard 17 was it?
Okay, one of the early ones.
Mhm.
Yes. So I switched it because normally I search eBay using my US account because more things will appear there. So I switched to my UK account and I found one field with this card in it for
Oh,
like $1. So I just
so you got
ordered
the
it.
magazine and the card.
Yeah, and it's sealed. So and it has another card in there. I forgot which character was in that. So there were two cards with the magazine, and I somewhere here. Is it here? Probably not. So I thought it's here.
Are you going to keep it sealed?
That's the question. Because after you were talking about that every day when someone opens a sealed box dies and the
Yeah.
population goes up. I was thinking I'm so tempted to open it, but I don't know. I'm just trying to
Well,
keep it since I'm not trying to do anything with it. So I'm just trying to keep it for now.
you got to do what Manu does. You just buy two.
Oh, Naj does the same thing. She's got multiples of a bunch of stuff.
All right. All right. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. We catch up a little bit in the chats here. We got Justin Udell. What's up, guys?
What's
Awesome
going
to
on,
see you,
Justin?
man. What's up, Jordan? Dan Roth. Hey, good afternoon to you, or morning, evening and morning. Yes, both. It's true
All of
right
it.
now.
All of the above.
Oh, so Sin Cities is watching the live and sniping cards on eBay at the same time. Hopefully, it's not
Yeah,
anything that I'm after.
he's not competing with me because I can't do that much tasking at one time.
Right, right. I've lost a lot of good stuff while being live on YouTube. That's for sure. Swami
Oh,
says
I
Black.
bought one earlier today. Sorry.
Did you really? Swami
Yeah,
says,
grabbed a card earlier today. Yeah.
oh, we'll have to hear about that in a second. So Swami says Black Suit is also his favorite.
Heck
And
yeah.
If
And that
someone
he's-
doesn't like the black suit, don't trust them.
Yeah, they do have issues, don't they?
What she said. Yes, indeed.
Sin City sent 100 Marvel cards to PSA today. I think that's what he's talking about.
Oh, congrats. Nice. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Oh, see, I love podcasts. We all love Black Suit Spider-Man.
Yeah, man. Symbiote love all day.
So William asks, what is the typical turnaround time for grading? That's a real loaded question because it depends on which company you're talking about and the way in which you submit it, because they have different levels that get it faster for you. And then sometimes who submits it, whether people realize it or not, that also can actually create a faster turn time. So, like for instance, you can send it through Golden and you get it graded a lot faster.
Really?
And yeah, Pops, we're aware of the volume, but it's 3 a.m. over there, so we don't want to wake up the family. Marvelous Pack says,
Oh.
good evening. That's awesome. Good to
Hey.
see you, my friend.
Good evening, Mr. Pax. Just joking. You know what I'm saying.
And you know he's in the Bay Area with you, if you recall.
Yeah, we talk. He and I talk. We've had some conversations lately.
Oh, very cool. Chris, hey, man. How's it going? First time listener, Spidey, great content. Thank you. Two things. Have you heard any news on Masterpiece 2022? That's a Marvel card. And Dilemma. I have an orange Masterpiece 2020 Spider-Man, worth it to grade. What do you guys think? I will tackle this one if it's okay.
Yeah.
So there is zero news on Masterpieces 2022 other than an artist has been assigned and they are working on it. Have they finished? Is the cards in production? Will they be, delivered by the end of this year? I can't speak to that. There's no news around that. And no one's leaked who the artist is, although there are people out there who know. So for people who aren't familiar with the Marvel Masterpieces set, Joe Jusko was the original first artist in 1992. It's iconic. For the most part, in the 90s, you then had multiple artists that would do the sets. And then in 2016, 2018, and 2020, Upper Deck assigned one artist to do every card. So it's all original art from one artist. And so
Say those years again, please, Justin. What years were the
individual single artist
Yes.
was 2016. And there's a caveat to that. I'll come back to it. 2018 and 2020.
Okay.
So when you see someone say MM18 or MM20 or MM16, that's what they're talking about. Caveat to the 2016. It actually was supposed to come out sooner, but Joe Jusko was behind on producing the art. So on some of the cards on the back, it actually says Marvel Masterpiece 2015. Why is that important? Well, how do people list stuff on eBay? They turn around, look at the back of the card, and they put 2015 Marvel Masterpieces. But it is affectionately called 2016, when people name it. So you have to search for both 2016 and 2015 when you're doing eBay searches.
That's some good information right there.
Mm-hmm. Now, when he says orange, he's talking about a parallel that's numbered to 99. All oranges, which are only in 16, 18, and 20, they're all numbered to 99. And is it worth grading? I think it really is. And because Spider-Man is a tier 1, I think the orange Spider-Man in 2020 is actually more important than an orange in 2016 and 2018 because they're not a tier 1. So it creates a different type of rarity around that particular image on that card. So I do think it's worth grading. Lastly, you know the condition, and that could change whether or not it's worth grading. And I'm assuming that the card's in mint condition when you ask the question. So.
Beautiful answer. Justin, you said you were going to double back to the caveat surrounding the individual artist for 2016 MM.
That was Joe Jusko, and the caveat was the fact that the card has 15, but it's widely known to have
sure.
released
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't name the artist, and the artist was Joe Jusko again. He did 1992, and he did the 2016 set.
And who did this 2020 set that Chris is asking about?
Awesome question. Dave Palumbo did. And what's unique about Dave Palumbo is he is the child of Julie Bell, who was one of the two artists in the 1996 Marvel Masterpiece.
Bell and Boris Vallejo. Absolutely.
That's correct. That's her son.
That's amazing. What a family.
But he won that gig because of the art, like totally because of the art.
He's sick. Yeah. He's good. Yeah.
Oh, wait. So Swami collects Spawn and Vampirilla Wizard cards? Okay. I've stayed away from Vampirilla.
Okay. I have my first Vampirilla item. Well, no, actually, I got a bunch of Vampirilla stuff. What am I talking about? It's just not very well organized, and I'm not too familiar with what any of it is. But back in the 90s, I picked up my fair share of, covers that I thought were interesting from Lady Death and Vampirilla and a couple of other, characters that came and went. But recently, I got a really cool Vampirilla 9.8. It's not here yet, but I won a raffle. And there was 8 books to choose from. I picked that one. I didn't look at values. I didn't know anything. I said, I'll take that Vampirilla book. So a modern Vampirilla 9.8 is coming into my collection. I'll share it when it shows up. I'm excited about it.
That is exciting. And you won it in a raffle. That's pretty awesome.
And it was a free raffle. It was a raffle. Okay, so this raffle was hosted by Hugh, and his Instagram name is Grade Bump Comics. Everything, I think, is spelled traditionally, Grade Bump Comics. Why is his name Grade Bump Comics? Well, because he bumps the heck out of grades. Like, he's an incredible presser. And I had developed a rapport with him on Instagram about raffles and books. And I'm watching a YouTube channel called, I think the name of the channel is probably Bry's Comics as well. But
Bry.
Justin, Bry, yeah. And Naj, we are familiar with Bry, of course.
Yeah.
And so Bry was mentioning him one day, and he said, Hugh from Great Bump Comics out in Canada, look what he did. And I was like, Hugh presses books, even though his name is Great Bump Comics. I never put it together. I messaged him right away, like recorded the screen, sent it to him. And I said, yo, Bry's talking about you. He said, yeah, man, we do stuff together. And I said, well, I didn't know that. Can we talk more about this? Like, I didn't know that you were over here doing all this crazy pressing stuff. But in any case, he hosts really great raffles. And this raffle, I feel a little bad just accepting the kindness. So I had entered a raffle and I won, and that was for a Marvel Age 90 9.8, which I loved that book. And Justin, that was the first day we spoke. Remember, I told you the energy was great that day.
Oh, that's right.
I won the Marvel Age 90. Naj knows about it too, because I told her, I can't believe I won this book. And then later on, he entered a bunch of people into a secret giveaway just to show thanks to people that have participated in raffles. And I had an entry in there because I had participated in a raffle. and I was one of the 8 winners of that raffle too. He gave away 8 slabs as a thank you for people that have entered raffles. So that's Hugh, Grade Bump Comics on Instagram. Follow him. Tell him we all say hello. He's an awesome guy.
Awesome. So I didn't know you were a winner too. I just thought Naj was.
I only win books. Naj wins life. You know,
Yeah.
there's a difference.
There is a difference. For those who maybe were not here when we first went live, Naj won CGC's TikTok Influencer Award, I think is the best way to say it.
I
And
don't know what I won. That's the funny part. Like, I seriously don't know. I know that it's called Mystery Bag, and everyone were like, "No, I hope this is like an I don't know, amazing fantasy casino." No,
oh, I hope it is too.
no way, because
Oh,
CGC would have, if it's a book, CGC would, like advertise for it to get more, likes and participation.
Hmm.
So my logical explanation of what is this mystery bag, I am hoping for a free T-shirt that says CGC on it. So my mind says free T-shirt, CGC logo on it. So I'm waiting for that. And they didn't say what's going to be on the back, but I hope that it's a T-shirt.
Oh, I hope it's more than a T-shirt. I hope you get the T-shirt and a really big,
Free
nice
pen
comic.
and a free
I
pen.
have a question. Wait, Naj, so when Justin was saying you won look, I know you just won something from CGC. I knew that. But I thought it was just like a random win. I didn't know it was
A
actually
random,
tied
no, no, no,
in.
no. A random win, a random. But it's tied into the TikTok giveaway. So
Yep.
they ran giveaway on Instagram and on TikTok. But the Instagram one was like the giveaway free books. The TikTok one was saying mystery bag.
I got it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Very
All
cool.
right.
Okay.
I get that it maybe was
Also,
random. Okay. But
I
they
think
know
it's
who
random.
they want to be showing off their stuff.
Facts.
No doubt. So Hand Four Letters ask, is there an online pricing guide for Marvel cards?
Ooh.
So Market Movers, which is owned by Sports Card Investors, they do have Marvel cards on there, and it is a paid service, so you'd have to pay for it. But they do keep up with kind of the trends in the market, and most of it's from eBay, but they also pull from other sites like Golden and PWCC and things like that. So that would be the only one that I really know about, other than doing your classic eBay type search. Now,
Right.
another website that's really useful is 130point.com. Are you guys aware of 130point.com?
Yeah, 130point.com. When it's working, it's great. And it works 95% of the time, so I shouldn't have said that.
The servers can get overloaded, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I want to talk about that a little bit. Wait, can we talk about 130 for a second?
Sure,
Just some
100%.
community conversation here. So for anyone that is not aware, when you go on eBay and you see something has a green line through it, or it was a best offer accepted, eBay is not completely transparent with those prices, or they're not transparent at all. You have no idea what it's sold for. So there are ways to, if you're like, you don't have to be a programmer, but there's something you could type in that makes something pop up that shows you some information that eBay knows that we're not supposed to. But if you don't have that sort of, if you're not that kind of person, which I don't even know how to do, you go to this website called 130point.com, 130point.com. You hit search eBay sales, and you can, it's the same way you would search eBay, you can search. And it will tell you that an item that was $599 a best offer, it's sold, and the accepted offer was, $275, $375, whatever. Now, it usually works. Now, I just have to say this because it's a fact. It's not always right, because a few times now it'll tell you this was a fixed price listing, this was the actual price it's sold for. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's wrong sometimes, because things that I sell, that I accepted offers on, if you look at them on 130 point, says it's sold for the higher price. And I'm like, nope, I'm the seller. I can tell you for sure that that's not right. So I don't think we have like a 100% effective way, which is kind of unfortunate. So we have to be smart. We have to be careful even when we're using 130 point.
And I believe there is a way to do it through eBay to check. And I don't
Yeah.
know why. Somebody in the chats remind me the name of it. It's not Beta. It's something, I can't remember the name of it. It's got a interesting name.
There is a way.
And
Yeah.
and you can search whether or not it's been paid. But even that's tricky, Like I know of a card right now. It's a green 2013 Venom PMG that
Green
so
2013 Venom PMG. Okay.
yeah, that like I saw it on Gingy Man who does he does like Marvel sales. Great channel, check him out. He's in the UK
Yeah.
with you, Naj, by the way. And so he was saying, well, this card sold but it hadn't been paid for. Well, I know that the card actually was bought, and I know I was told from the person who bought it what they paid for it. So I'm guessing they must have taken it off of eBay and finished the transaction privately.
Mm,
So you just don't always get the information. That's for sure.
yeah. Yeah.
So Sin City says he's seen a lot of the purple and oranges from Marvel Masterpieces to get graded. Good move, I think.
Dang. Nice. Oh, that's
All
part
right.
of his 100 card submission. Then he's gonna have a
Yeah.
bunch of crazy things coming back.
So Dan says, thinking of snagging some raw books to get them graded. Do you guys have any cleaner or presser folks you recommend? I'm gonna let you guys have this one.
Naj, you want to go? Naj's had some good experience with some people, and we just talked about Hugh a little bit. But Naj, what you got?
Well, I have a couple. So this is something I used to always use Slab Hub Comics, and it's as it's written, I said it, Slab Hub Comics, and they are very nice people. They've done amazing work on all of my modern submissions. I had like a big submission a long time ago, last year or something, and they pressed it amazingly. The US4, they did magic on it. It came back 9.6. I honestly thought that it's maximum 9.2. Like they managed to make all of the ticks go flat. So all of the ticks that were mixed were like hairline ticks, considered as hairline color breaks instead of ticks. And that's a big deal for
Yeah.
US4 because I don't know if you're familiar with the cover. It's really a fake kind of a cover. So there's a bend on the back, which is caused normally by the polybag. So that's like a big deal for it to come back as a 9.6. I was really shocked by that. Um, so I recommend them for all of the modern submissions. I've had huge success with them. I even got a 10. So
Wow.
first submission I had a 10, and there were the people who helped me with that. And that cover was a metal cover. So normally the metal covers can come as 10 easily. But remember the metal cover is on one side, so the other side is normal cards. And I asked them to press it. So they pressed it and cleaned that one and it came back as 10. So they were really amazing. Um, the other person I recommend is comic book pressing. That's also how his handle is. And he's also an amazing presser. He's the one who pressed the Malibu Sun, and Malibu Sun 13 is a very delicate book. It's really very thin and very not easy to work with, and he's the one who made it work in the 9.8. So I recommend
Wait a
him
minute.
as
Wait a
well.
minute. Do y'all both have 9.8s in Malibu 13?
I used to have, but I think Manu told you the story
Oh,
last
that's
time.
right. He did. Okay. He actually did. I remember
Yeah,
now.
she did sell hers, but it was sold for the right reason. And
Yeah.
I have a few. This is my baby, that book.
All right. We're gonna have to work that out.
I always I often get people saying or messaging me about it because it's still on my Instagram. I'm like, oh, you want one? I know where you can find one. I got someone in my Instagram. I know somebody who has a few who's managed to grade a couple hundreds of it. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yeah. No.
But I think that I believe that many would never tell us the truth, but I believe that half of the population of the 9.8 is graded by him. That's my that's my personal view. He would never admit it, I know, but I have this feeling that half of these 9.8 were graded by Manu.
I have no reason not to believe it. That's what I would tell you.
CGC has requested that I no longer comment on this topic.
Yeah. Okay. So they're listening. I got it. All right. So my presser, I have to tell you. So my presser is Valor Comics. Daniel Dunn. I've mentioned him on the channel before, and he's local to me, so it's really easy. Like I hand him the books in person, and he gets them in and hands them back to me in person. So it's been a wonderful relationship, and the 9.8s and stuff in the background, they've all been from him. So very thankful for him. You can find him on Instagram and YouTube, Valor Comics, Daniel Dunn. Great guy.
I'm gonna Valor Comics. We're connected now. I know that's a friend of yours, so
Yep.
I'm gonna be speaking to him as well. And I'm gonna add to. Well, I want to add a little bit to the things that Naj said. Yeah, those two recommendations that she's given. I have been privy to some of the projects that they've worked on for Naj, and I'm blown away by the success. So, even though I personally have not submitted to either of those organizations, I'm all about those recommendations right there. So that's awesome. And then I do have to give a shout out to my guy Taj, Epic Comicology. Now, he does press, and he's a master presser, and he's amazing. But if you hit him up to try to, ask him, he's not like a guy that advertises his services. So he might be like, no, but I don't know.
Oh,
So
so you
I
got to
shout
know
him
you
out.
got to know him or know somebody that knows him. I got it.
It's not, I just got lucky. We're friends. I don't know what it is, but I remember early on I would shout him out and people would hit him up and they would message me. They're like, bro, he doesn't want to. And I was like, well, that's got nothing to do with me or you. He's a busy man,
Well, and to your
so,
point,
yeah.
that's why you do need multiple relationships. It's kind of that old adage: every rat needs more than one hole to run to. Not calling
I've
anybody a
never
rat.
heard it, but I like that.
Not, it's just, if they're good, they're gonna get busy.
Yeah.
That's just the
like
reality.
I like this topic. Okay. So, and I know there were some questions here about grading. So this is going to fall in line with some of these questions. Like I Love Podcasts asks, do you have tips on buying raw comics to get graded? So many tips. Naj has so many. I have so many. And there's just so many different ways to go about a hunt and an inspection. And then once you have a book that you think is in high grade and you think it has the potential to be made even higher grade, and that's when you have to start deciding who's going to press your books and stuff like that. And I want to talk a little bit more about this because a couple of things that I noticed recently. Comic Tom, shout out Comic Tom. He and his organization has taken on Hero Restoration as a sponsor. And I don't know if it's a sponsor for like Comic Tom as a brand or Comic Tom's YouTube channel, but I've seen some cross promoting on his Instagram page and his stories. And I just saw on a recent YouTube video that he had a segment about Hero Restoration. Now, I've never used Hero Restoration. I know people that have. They are OGs in this thing. Like they know what they're doing. They've done every book 1,000 times over, even the ones that there are only 2 copies of, they've done 3 of them, right? Like they're that sort of organization. And it's really important to differentiate between someone, and this is no disrespect to anybody because I don't know what everyone's, experience level is, so on and so forth. But it's important to differentiate between someone that's like an expert about pressing with all sorts of experience with dealing with paper from different decades and different processes and really, really getting into there and charging you, their time's worth for what they're doing versus someone that says, I'm having a special and I'm doing $5 a book all weekend long. Well, you got to think about it. What are you going to get for $5? So you have to think about what is the book? What's the book going to require? What sort of care, love, detail, what sort of specialty sort of tactics are you going to have to use to maximize the potential for this book? Because all pressing is not the same. There are certain pressers that are just getting into the game, and that means they just bought a press and they're learning. And guess what? They're going to learn on your books, and that's just the truth because there's no way to get 10 years of experience without 10 years of experience. And people will find out rather quickly that, people online will say, oh, pressing's $15 a book, $25 a book. Well, yeah, it can be. But sometimes pressing is a lot more than that because a press, that's just what we call it, but it's not necessarily just a press. And Naj has recently been sharing reels from a gentleman that's been trying a new method of removing stains using ultraviolet lights and things like that. And this gentleman's not the only, I forget his name at the moment. I will remember, and Naj will remind us. And he's not the only person doing this. Epic Comicology has been doing some experiments lately too. And there are some new techniques emerging in pressing right now that I think are about to change the game, because there were things that we just realized they were set, they were done, we can't improve them. And literally in the past few months, we're seeing examples of things that we thought you could not change being changed. So I don't know what's going to come of this, but there's some exciting stuff coming about, because when you have a moisture stain on the back of a comic book or anything like that, we could lighten it up a little bit, being really, really careful with the sort of materials our presser and cleaner is using. But now I think there's a revolutionary process out there that I want to learn more about. Not that I'm going to actually be a practitioner of the process, but it's definitely something that I think a lot of really savvy pressers are about to add to their arsenal. So the game's about to change a little bit, I think, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think that's. Oh, go ahead, Naj.
I was just going to say that in also using the UV light and all that, they are saying it's possible to make the color of the face enhanced and go from off-white to white, and maybe that's your chance. That's your 316.
Wait, Naj, are you saying that all I have to do to get my white page Mark Jewelers 316 is crack it open and give it a bath under some light?
Probably.
Might have to do it.
Wouldn't I wouldn't.
I'm not going to crack it. I can't crack that thing.
I mean, but
I'll be honest with you. I had a fish tank, like a proper one before, and the magic that the UV light can do to make the color of the water go crystal clear in like a couple of days is like fascinating. So I probably really believe that it's possible, because the way that the UV light can work and what's the word, tone the yellow. Yeah, it is possible. I believe in that. I've seen that happen, and everyone was always commenting on how clear the water looks in my fish tank. It was like, seriously, like you think the fish are floating that clear. Because I had a proper one, a proper filter and UV light system. So yeah, it's possible. I believe so.
I'm a believer already.
Well, I got two things I want to talk about here with this. So number one is, if they improve the ability to clean and press and, improve grades on comics, that's going to have an impact on the market. It just is. That's a disruptor, so to speak. The second thing is, going back to Marvel cards, it's a totally different attitude when it comes to trading cards as it is with comic books. With comic books, we're in a way, just the tone is almost a celebration of, hey, a better way of doing it. Where with trading cards, man, if you do anything other than rub a microfiber across it, you're altering the card.
Right.
And it's got a very negative view in the hobby for it. And so it's really interesting, the two differences. Now, one was made to look at, the other one was made to read. And so there's reasons, I think, why pressing isn't viewed as. Go ahead.
Question. But it was like that for comics not a while ago, right? Like a few years ago, it was like that. That some people were like, you shouldn't press the book, because if you're pressing it, you are like restoring something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was there in the comic community for a while, but then it changed once there were lots of money coming from pressing it like it. I have a story actually. It's about the US4 that I got from Manu. You remember it? The 808.51. That once it's pressed, it's a 9.8.
An 8.5 we knew had a lot of pressable defects, and Naj turned it into a 9.8.
That's insane.
Not me. It's Eric, the comic book presser, who did that.
That was Eric, comic book presser, yeah.
That's not a grade bump. That's a totally different book.
Well, we could talk about that. We could cover why that is. That's like an interesting tidbit for people. Naj knows that's a guaranteed. What happened with that book, Naj? Why was it an 8.5?
Well, when my friend, the 9.5 Newsstand, I mean, of course, if you're not following the 9.9 Newsstand on Instagram, you are missing a lot of videos.
Yeah.
this is one of the deals that was done via Instagram, and I think this was like when we just started being friends. It's probably because of this one.
Mm-hmm.
So Manu was posting on his Instagram story a book which is already CGC 8.5, and in his comments on that story, something like the comments of or the notes from CGC grades, which says light something. There was like a light bend on the back, so it wasn't pressed prior to submission, and there was a little bend on the corner, which you can see, and I don't remember like a third defect. So according to them, the surface of the book is entirely flat, and that would hurt the grade a lot. So it became an 8.5. So Manu was on the fence if he wants to sell it or not sell it, and I was like, "Are you sure you want to sell it? Like you're crazy. You shouldn't sell it. You should just submit it." And he was, "I don't want to." And then I understood that he has couple 9.8, probably 100 of them somewhere, and that's why he doesn't need another one. Wasn't it the case? I think that's what happened. So I was like, okay, I will be the good friend and I will save you from this book, because he was really
You
like
saved me.
Yeah. So I saved you and I did you a favor. I took that book from you and I sent it to Eric, the comic book presser, because if you see his face, he has loads of these great font things, especially on Fallout 4. And I got it sent to CBCS because of the faster turnaround time, and it came back in 2 weeks, a 9.8. That
Wow.
it went from, was it like 500 of books or something?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
between 500 and 600. Yeah,
Yeah, two couple thousand, like in 2
to
weeks.
3,500.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
I
if
was
it was
saying like,
yeah. Yeah, that's quite the bump for sure.
yeah,
That might be the biggest bump I've actually heard of.
I'll
8.5 to 9.8.
yeah, and I'll add to that just a little bit, because this is a nice tip for anybody that's here that might not be familiar with it. Excuse me. If you ever see an Ultimate Fallout 4 first print, this only applies to the first print. Well, I don't want to be wrong here. I don't think the second print came polybagged. It didn't. I don't think. Maybe some of them did. It didn't. No. So the first print, the one where Miles Morales' face is still hiding behind the title, that's the difference between the first and the second print. You can see his face on the second print, which is, to me, a very cool looking cover, and it's lower printed, so I think it's undervalued. But in any case, the first print book came polybagged, and there are many people, like the person that I purchased this already graded 8.5 from, that look at it through the polybag and think this looks great, and they send it to CGC. Well, CGC is going to grade whatever's in the poly. They're going to remove the polybag and grade it as is. And you definitely are not getting a good look at your book if you're looking at it through plastic. You know, people can tell you whatever they want. You cannot assess a book unless it is bare in front of you. You have to handle a book to assess it. You know, there's all sorts of people that will send, pictures of CGC slabs and say, is this worth a grade bump? No one can tell you it is, right? And if anybody confidently tells you based on pictures that it's worth the grade, that light just went off.
You're in the dark.
I'll deal with that later. Oh, this looks very weird. Anyway, now, so carrying on. So that book, the Ultimate Fallout 4, the first print, if you ever see one already graded as an 8.5, that's like an instant 8.5 through CGC, because the polybag leaves a couple of things. And one of the things it leaves is this line that travels all the way through the book from the top to the bottom. And it's the length of the book, because it's where the crease from the polybag was or something of that sort. A simple press takes care of that. But if you don't press it, your potential 9.8 is an 8.5. And if you just accept that grade and sell it on the market as 8.5, there's someone like me looking for that opportunity to buy it and turn it into a 9.8 or resell it and have fun with it. You know, one of the reasons that I wanted to resell that book is just because I like selling. Like, to me, the fact that Naj bought it was incredible. The fact that it turned into a 9.8, I felt like it was, I love that. Like, that is the same as a financial success to me. I really enjoy that. Didn't pay his light bill. No, I didn't charge this overpriced light. I'll be back.
This is what happens when you spend all your money on comic books.
Yeah, that thing is done. Oh, let's see. Don't watch me being weird, guys.
You're good.
I got something for us. I got something for us.
I love podcasts. So this is Marvel After Dark.
Whoa, that's weird. I'll be right back. That's not gonna
No,
work.
you're good. Hey, you're fine. We can see you. Well, look, pressable defects for people who don't know. I know there are a lot of people in the chats that do, but pressable defects basically means there's something that's there. I think of it as like you were reading the book, right? Like it was meant to be, like the comic book was meant to be read, and that there's evidence left that was the case. But a press makes it go away, makes it disappear. It's not actually altering the book in some way. You're not adding color. You're not doing anything to make it what it wasn't. It's just you're just pressing it and then it's gone, right? Is there any other language you would put around what a pressable defect is?
I would say it's applying heat on the book. So when they're pressing, they apply heat sometimes, heat and moisture. So just to make sure that they kind of trying to get the paper memory back to its original. Now, one thing you need to know that the paper has a memory, which means once it's folded, you can press it, but it can always come back to what it was. Now that's the danger. The danger is that this bend on the polyback that we're talking about already, which is in the Ultimate Fallout 4, in few years, it's possible if it's stored in any like specific conditions where the temperature changes, not a regulated temperature, it's very, very possible that the bend will come back. So that is something people need also to be aware of. And the good thing is that this defect, if it comes back, you can press it again and resubmit it again. It's not like going to be, like a disaster, because it's just a little bit. But the way that it hurts the grading, it hurts it massively, because they will, first of the things that they grade is the color of vibrance on the cover, in addition to if it's a flat. And that means it's not flat, it can get as bad as an 8.5, and the best thing it could do probably is a 9.0. And I had that before. So it is possible that it won't get a 9.6, it would get really hurt, which means when you're hunting on eBay, minding your own business, probably it's possible that you check the grader notes all the time. If it's a 9.0 book, Ultimate Fallout 4, and the photos look great, that there's no signs that are breaking colors, it's definitely worth taking the code that is on the book, put it on the CVC website, and check the grader notes if there's any. And maybe that's something you need to invest in. It will tell you if it says surface is not flat or there's several bends. Maybe it's a good book to buy and regrade. Many people, I read the chat, many people are saying that some people try to regrade some books and then they actually regret it because the grading is subjective to the person who is grading it, and there's a human error and all that. That's true, but with the higher grades, there is a human error, definitely. You can get a 9.6 and you look at it and you think to yourself, why it's a 9.6? This looks like a 9.8. That is definitely something that happened to me before. But I so far never regretted regrading a book. So I think maybe for lower grades one where there are like defects that you know about, maybe it's not worth regrading and risking that. But for higher grades, I would suggest you do that. You regrade if you, as a person, human, look at it and you think there's nothing wrong with it. I want to give it another shot. Press it again and clean it again and send it again. Yeah, higher grades one are less risky, in my opinion, to regrade than lower grade one.
Love it.
What do you think?
Oh, I love everything that you just said. I actually want to take a second and also go back to the conversation that you were having about paper having memory and reversion occurring, like, whatever the imperfection was coming back. And one thing that you said was really terrific is that if you have, like, let's say, for instance, you pressed a book, well, what would be the situation? Well, here's because what you said was great, that you can always press it again. You know, if an imperfection pops back out, well, the same way you pressed it to begin with, you can press it again. And now you've learned something about that paper. You've learned something about that indentation, the history of it, and maybe now you're going to do. I'm talking as if I know what I'm talking about, but that's only because I've spoken to people that have pressed things and cared for things for me. I've never done it, but you do a moisture bath, you loosen up the fibers, you apply humidity, and you can possibly do a more permanent press. But one thing that I've learned is that, let's say it is a cold climate and you're pressing a book and now you're sending it to CGC and it's like modern tier, no fast track, and it could take 5-6 months before they get to your book. You can have reversion prior to them grading the book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when you will have a problem. So one of the things you might want to do is press a book, revisit it a week later, give it the same sort of love again, and then revisit it a week later. And if you know it's going to be cold while you're doing this, or it's cold, you know, wherever it's going, then you're going to want to plan for that. And you're going to want to take that into consideration, because the climate, like Naj said, the climate that it's stored in is sort of equally as important as the temperature and pressures and things used when you're pressing the book.
Wow, that's really deep. That's another level of awareness in terms of grading, but it makes perfect sense.
Especially for those books. That's why I always send them to their modern CBCS, because it comes back in 2 weeks, and I'm always like, that's not enough time for the book to come back to stage before pressing.
Did you say CBCS?
She's a CBCS grader. Yep.
Whoa. I'm calling CGC. Are they aware of this?
Oh yeah, they just gave you an award and now you're promoting CBCS. What the heck?
Well, CBC doesn't love me. They want to give me the book after a year. Like, what? I still have a couple books.
They're trying to win you over. That's what it is. They're trying to win you over.
Yeah.
Probably.
We can't grade them any quicker, but we can give you stuff.
That's hilarious. I love that. All right, so we got some comments here. Let's see here. From Oliver Van. There are many in the hidden majority, but very well advanced in CPR of fine arts that are not up here on these comic channels. Find them.
Mm-hmm.
Some have been at CPR for comic pressing. Is that what he's saying with CPR?
No, crack, press, and regrade. I think the R might be regrade. That's when you have a book that's already slabbed, you crack it open, give it the treatment, and send it again.
Got it. Some have been doing that for over 20 years, 40. They know their paper. So I have a question for you.
About Oliver, hook us up. Let us know who those people are, by the way, Oliver. Drop some names. Anyway, carry on, Justin.
No. You never miss an opportunity. I like it. So about 2 years ago, I went ahead and purchased a lot of like 9 books that were all like 9.0 or better, up to 9.6, with red label CGCs. Where remember when they used to say if it was modern, they gave it a red label, and then they realized, well, one day this won't be modern anymore. That's pretty dumb. We don't need to do that.
That's funny. Wow.
So these are from there's Spider-Man McFarlane run era books. Okay. And my question to you is it more valuable to leave them in the red labels, which will never happen again in theory, or should I crack them, clean them, press them, and get them resubmitted?
I have Naj answer. I think Naj wants to say something here.
I was just asking myself, because I think, do you want to sell them? My own advice, I will just say, my own advice is, if you are not in a rush to make that any investment out of these, leave them as they are, because you never know. They are collectors who are like just collecting all your stuff, so probably they are going to be more expensive, same as the Newsstand one later on. When the population of degraded books are still high, people will start looking at rare ones, and if they are like a, I don't know, 2009.8 in the new modern slab and only 100 in the older one, so probably people will be, oh, that's more rare. Similar the way that they talk about the Newsstand one. You know, Newsstand are more rare. So probably this is going to be a thing later. Who are we to know now? You know what I'm saying? is keep them for a few years, and later when you plan to sell them, when you're planning to make that investment, regrade them, get that higher grade, and then sell them. So probably treat that as a, an opportunity there, and regrade them when you need it.
I
That's
love
my
it.
advice.
It does have some of the elements that make for, something that people will add value to later, right? And
I
I
think
think
so.
so.
and I kind of bought it because I didn't see many red labels, when you're hunting. I was like, this never pops up, or I'm not used to seeing it. I was like, these are covers that I love. They're actually pretty decent grades. I did a little research, and there was some belief that maybe they graded pretty harshly back then. Don't know if that's true.
Yes, we
So I went ahead and
usually
bought them.
have not cool.
I like what Andrew said here. Naj, did I just cut you off? Were you speaking? I'm sorry.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. I thought maybe I have a bad habit of just running my mouth whenever something.
Stop.
Andrew said something great here. A Banfi. Oh, there it is, right there. Keep them as nostalgic pieces, if in higher grade. My opinion only. His opinion is a very respected opinion. He's a very modest man.
Mhm.
I hold on to my reds, and I agree with that. I think I don't actually have any. I don't have anything from CGC's original grading cases, and I think
Mm.
if I did have something, granted, I would want it to be the grade that it is. I wouldn't want to look at it and think, wow, there's 2 grade bumps here, because then I'd probably go for the grade bump. But if it was a grade and I look at it and I agree with the grade, I am probably going to keep it in that classic case because that's cool. It's vintage now, and I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And just to be clear, for those who don't know, CGC at one time in the 90s gave the modern books a different color label. It was red, and it didn't last for very long. I don't know how long. I haven't done that research. Yeah, but they don't do it anymore. And so you can still, a lot of those have been cracked and cleaned and pressed because people were trying to bump grades and stuff, but there's still some out there you can find. Richard says he loves the content. Thank you, man. I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Richard.
Means a lot.
Absolutely. And Oliver, actually, who we were talking about sort of the advanced pressing, he's gone on to say some cool things here because, we put him on the spot. We said,
We
all right,
did.
Oliver, let us know. Who are these pressers? And he says, I'm one of them, but I don't make my money with comics, which makes sense. Well, Oliver, if you ever want to make some extra money, some dinner money, I might have a few books to send you away.
Some
No, but
comic
I
book
understand what
money.
he's saying.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
comic book money, yeah, and so that's nice of him. And he also said he can add a link here, and he's enjoying the show. Thank you, Oliver.
Awesome.
Really enjoying what you're adding to the show as well. That's really appreciated. And if he does add a link, then I will screenshot it. And Oliver, just let's hang out often. You're good people, and I appreciate the insight on pressing. Thank you, Oliver.
Absolutely. So RH at Midwest Comics says there are some collectors out there that look for the original red labels and will pay a premium for them, but those
Oh, I like
collectors
that.
are few and far between. I think if they were
Sure.
9/8, they'd be really, really special. They're not. None of them are 9/8. So
Wait, what do you mean none of them are 9/8?
the
Oh,
ones
I
that
was
I
gonna say
own,
yeah.
yeah, the ones that
Okay,
I
I
own
got
are
you,
not
got you.
9/8. So Andrew says you can typically get gray bumps from the old slabs because they were not pressed. Great point. Didn't even think about that. Pressing
Yeah,
was seen
yeah.
as a form of restoration and frowned upon, which now is accepted, and that's what Naj was saying.
This ties perfectly into what Naj said. And I was not pressing and cleaning back when people were frowning upon it, but I've heard about it. And Naj, so I was able to agree with Naj, what she was saying very easily, because that's true. I remember, I've just heard people talk about how there was a time where pressing was cheating.
Mm.
And quite frankly, I don't think it is. And what you said, Justin, about the cards is so interesting to me, right? Because I did see some controversy, if you will. You know how
See,
controversy
see Charles's
likes to
comment
spread.
here. I'm going to start pressing
What?
my Marvel PMGs.
Look at that, right? So this is going to go into that. So when you have these cards that get flared edges, when the surface layer starts to raise up, there you can press it down.
With
You
your
can
finger.
apply, yeah, you can apply pressure and you can flatten out a flared edge. Is
Yes.
that restoration?
Yeah, if you do it on video and brag about it.
Which people have done recently. I've seen that.
Here,
float around.
actually, I kind of want to, for me, I need to stay away from this topic And here's why. Because I'm not a grader. And I really don't know what PSA or SGC or BGS or any of them, what they would consider altering. And so, and I haven't actually found definitive information on, well, if I run my finger across the edge and it presses this down and the grader never sees it, like, is that faux pas? Is that frowned upon? Whatever. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. I think there's ways in which you can care for your cards, right? And love them and enjoy them. And I think that a lot of people, when they get a card that's a PSA 10, they want it to be a PSA 10 because of how it came in out of the pack and how it went to the grader, and that the idea that it was always been pristine and it never did this. It never was and then wasn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
it
so
does.
And so
But
obviously
if a tree falls,
I hear you. I do. So look, so here I'm living out of a wound a little bit, because I went live with a friend one night and we had a guy on there who was going to teach us how he submits his cars to grading. And it went into this full on cleaning, using tools and doing all this kind of stuff. And it got kind of ugly in the community. Like, it really did.
oh, no, that
And
might be what I'm talking about. Actually, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know.
And I didn't know either. Like, I was in a position of discovery. I just happened to be live and on my channel in it. And so it turned into this whole thing. And I don't want to be a part of a whole thing, right?
Right.
Because like, we're talking about me getting my first ever submission back from PSA. What do I know about grading? Like, nothing, really. And so, so with your cards, be careful, make sure you know what you're doing. Do your research. If you can get the information from the company that you're grading from and you're comfortable with it, that's great. I would err on the side of the caution of not touching your cars beyond, wiping a fingerprint off and that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I think there are some people who would say that, yeah, even running your finger across the edge is not kosher. So
that is quite strict. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I was just going to add that probably for cards it's going to be a little bit different than comics, because you can't press any embossed, like if there's anything embossed on the cards, like art is embossed or something, that is not pressable, because once you press that, it will flatten it. So these kinds of cards definitely are not pressable. And if it has foil on it, that is the applied heat with the press is going to hurt or damage it. So it's also unpressable. So probably there is many reasons that the cards can be pressed. Depends on the card probably as well. So maybe this practice is not going to happen.
Yeah. It's a touchy topic, but there are some people out there that believe that it's not altering and that they're not doing anything but cleaning the card in a sense and caring for it, and they gladly do it and get better grades because of it. And so it's kind of each person's decision.
What do you like to use when you wipe a card? Like, it's really hard for me to find the perfect cloth.
So a buddy of mine who does a tremendous amount of grading, who's been on the channel. When I say tremendous, I mean tens of thousands, like not tens of thousands, probably close to 10,000 cards graded.
Michael,
he likes to use a t-shirt.
No way.
He says, find that t-shirt that's just like super comfy at home, that's pure cotton, and use it. So he damaged the card using microfiber, so he just doesn't use it. But yet I've heard plenty of people use microfiber. So I don't know.
And microfiber, that could mean a couple thousand different things, like how dense is the microfiber? What material did they microfiber together?
Which side of the microfiber? Because sometimes they're not the same.
Yeah, like I'm thinking maybe I'll just buy really, really expensive glasses and return them, but keep whatever fancy cloth came with it. I did not just say that live on YouTube.
Right, you did.
No, I just haven't found anything perfect yet, but also something that works on one surface isn't necessarily going to wipe away the same way on a different surface. Everything is so nuanced. There's not one answer to anything that we're discussing this evening. That's for sure.
Yeah, I opened up some Power Blast, some 94 Flare Power Blasts, and they come, the older those get, I don't know if you've opened them, but you have the box, and then in the box you have other little boxes, and they're wrapped in like cellophane or plastic. So you have to rip those open. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, no, you open up the boxes and the cards inside the box is wrapped in plastic. Then you have to rip those open, and then you get to the cards. Well, the Power Blast was always on the top, and it would get this foggy
Yeah.
residue on it.
Yeah, it sure would. And it's so difficult. You can move the residue around before you can wipe the residue off. It's weird.
Yes. And I think that I probably scratched those surfaces on those pack pool cards using a microfiber. So I don't know what to use there.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Charles is being funny in the comments. So yeah, so Sin City says the Marvel car sports car market trying to restore cards is such a big no-no because there's scammers out there who are altering cards, and it brings a bad light to the industry for sure. Yeah, people are trying to make money by being sleazy. That happens. But Charles, my good friend, uses car wax and oil to shine his cards. Good to know.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I don't even have to try it to know that that is the way to go.
Yeah, and this should be obvious, but I'm glad Marvelous brings it up. Don't trim your cards. Don't do anything to do that.
I mean, if you're going to use a brand new X-Acto, that's my advice.
Stop. Oliver Rand uses a fast steam press. I don't know what that means, but I'm curious.
He's one of the professionals. He is. So he's talking about something probably higher end and for the pros.
The clothes.
Wait, is he joking? Oh, Oliver, are you making a joke about using something that people use to press their suits in a hotel bathroom?
That's what I'm curious about.
We'll do some Googling later. I have a feeling our friend Oliver comes with.
I've already Googled
as
it.
well as. Okay.
You can get a JC Penney's. You can get a fast steam press for $188.
All right, he might be joking with us here, or maybe, maybe the fast steam press is a nice way to add a little humidity or moisture prior to pressing. No, you would do it. You're right on the microfiber. Not great for comics. No joke. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with both you, Justin, and Oliver that most microfibers. That's why I put up a picture recently of comic books on my desk with the microfiber, and I made sure to mention the microfiber was for the desk, not the comics. That's what I dust the desk with.
I love the way you do your camera shots on your desktop, by the way.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice.
that desk has become the signature, so I hope we could keep that up. Yeah, thank you.
So I don't think he's joking. I don't know. Maybe he's teaching us something that's so different that we can't tell if it isn't.
And Oliver, I don't want to know all of your secrets. I just want you to receive books from me and care for them.
You're a simple man. I love it.
He's gonna block me from every social thing.
Right. So Oliver, what do you use to clean? Do you use your comic books? Are you using a t-shirt? You're not using a microfiber. Click on the link. I didn't see the link. Did you see the link?
I didn't see the link either. No, I was waiting for a link and I didn't see one.
I'm scrolling back up, see if there is one.
Can they add links in the chat? I don't think so.
They can. Yeah, I think they can put links in the comments. I believe so. Yeah, I did not see it.
Andrew just asked, do the microfibers used to clean glasses also scratch cards? It depends. I've used fancy glasses microfibers, like things out of just glasses cases that I've had laying around, and they've worked really great. I mean, you got to combine it with a little hot breath, but who doesn't have some of that laying around? So it works really good. But some cards, it doesn't matter what you use. It's just difficult. But I've definitely used that. Yeah.
The term is condition sensitive, right? Like, so they're just easy to damage. And your thicker cards, and I don't think I have one sitting by me. What I have sitting by me is I have these cards tabbed. That means it's ready to go to PSA.
I
You like
have
that
some
one?
stuff. I'll
You like
grab some
that one?
stuff real quick.
But your thicker cards, they don't just have 4 corners. In a sense, they really have 8 corners because they're
Oh,
so
I love
thick.
that.
Top, bottom, up, down.
That's
Like
so nice.
each one is there's multiple corners on your thick cards, and then the surfaces, the different types of paper material, it just makes it hard to clean. Okay.
I'm not sure what this is, but it's some ultra soft, really, really ultra soft microfiber. I think it is designed for cleaning like computer screens or phone screens or stuff like that. But I've had great luck with this. Now, you're going to want to use it over and over again. Unfortunately, you got to use it once and throw it away because whatever oils and residues you moved, they're on here now. And so it is terribly wasteful to use something like this, but it works. And then for just like a little bit of dusting on a comic book, because I don't clean anything, I send that out. But just a little bit of something, or to remove fingerprints from a glossy cover, just to make it look better in my own collection, like a Wizard magazine. Just these pad things,
Is that a
these
makeup
flat.
pad?
I think so. Yeah, it's a flat cotton makeup.
Don't ask me
pad.
how I know that that's like a makeup remover pad.
Right? What the heck? And so these
In another life.
I pick them up. Yeah. So those 2 items, these are for cards, and this is to get stuff off of some comic books here and there. But this is not the professional stuff. This is me for my PC. Anything that really needs to get handled gets sent to people that are experts like Oliver and Epic Comicology.
All right, I need to clear up why I know what that is. It's because I live with a house full of women, wife and 2 daughters, and my dog likes to dig in the bathroom trash, and I'll find those drug around the house. So,
there you go.
that's why I know what that is. So Tom says Kurt does tutorials and whatnot. So if serious on cleaning and carrying cards, check him out. Tom,
Who is Kurt?
that's who I had on my channel that I got in so much trouble about. So, like I said,
this is funny.
I'm gonna tell you, Kurt was the kindest guy who had great energy. I really enjoyed hearing from him, but I have no idea if what he teaches is or isn't card altering. Go discover for yourself. Just some people I know and trust close to me didn't thought he was closer on the altering side than not. So that way you know that. If you hit 9s on anything above a 55 point, so that's the thickness of the card. Okay.
Right.
You're doing good. And he's not wrong because of the condition sensitive. And yep, Marvelous Packs is one of the people that thinks that he's altering cards. So there you go. Tom says they're good. Pax says they're wrong. Who's right? Who knows? Carry on.
This is a touchy one. This is a touchy subject.
Telling you. So Oliver
what is this about?
No. CGC Purple Light picks that up. That's why you guys can't figure when you send a 9.8 for grading, it comes back a 9.0. I think he's talking about using a microfiber.
Wait. The purple light picks what up? Oliver, please clarify.
Same thing when you guys roll a meatball. I'm not sure what that means.
I think he's talking about same thing when you guys roll a meatball. I think when he's talking about the purple light picking it up, maybe he's talking about micro hazing coming from the cotton pads. If you use cotton to wipe down, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just talking light dusting. I'm not talking anything severe, but maybe he's talking about micro hazing or micro swirling that could happen from that, because on a glossy black cover, you can definitely put a million little scratches on it that you think aren't there. And then you get it under a focused light and the thing is, bouncing all over the place.
Oh, Charles is really okay. We're gonna have to shut the live stream down with these guys. They're they're trying to trigger one another now in the comments.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Charles is trolling. He said, think about it. You have a 1 1/6 of a dimple. You go and roll a metal ball 4 inches around it. Purple light picks up when you pass the microfiber against the paper grain.
I'm going to believe him. I'm just going to believe him. There's micro hazing. There are swirls that happen.
Mhm.
And it makes sense. Like if you were ever in or ever cared about car care, paint, right?
Yeah.
And you actually wanted your black car to shine the way you had dreamt about it,
Mhm.
well, the amount of steps you have to take to care for that, to never touch the paint or to polish it to actually bring it to glass, it's extensive. And most people don't think about it that way. But someone like Oliver definitely is thinking about it that way, which is what the people that really care for your books for you should, that's how they should think about it. So I'm with him.
Awesome. So he says car care exactly. You and him are speaking the same language.
Very
All right.
cool.
So Charles got people triggered in the comments. I still love him. He's just having
Someone
fun.
pronounce Charles's last name for me, please.
Futch,
Okay.
Charles Futch. He's also known as
Okay.
Stacking Gems on Instagram. So
Oh,
if you're not
that's
following,
Stacking Gems?
that's Stacking Gems. He probably doesn't want me to tell everybody, but since he's causing trouble in the chats, I'm gonna call him out. Call Stacking
You
Gems.
can't hide behind his real name anymore.
No. He's a flexor if there ever was one, and that's literal and figuratively. But all right, so moving away from grading, if that's okay. I know there's still some comments
Sure.
about that
Yeah.
going in the chat.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Naj, she technically has the ability to watch Moon Knight right now.
Right now, is it on yet?
Is it because you're in tomorrow where we're in today?
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning.
Yeah. So we need to get you. Wait, how can she? Is it literally out already, or
does it come out?
No,
it's come out Wednesday for you. Or does it come out the same time it comes out for us?
Same time as it for you. So when it's midnight somewhere, when it drops, when it's midnight somewhere in the US, it will be on. So it's the same time on Disney Channel everywhere.
I see. Okay, so you don't get it before us.
Yeah. No. Normally I wake up on a Monday morning, like at 8, and I'll be able to watch it. So a couple more hours.
just stay up. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm up already.
Yeah. That's me. I'm thinking I'm gonna I have a meeting at 7:30 a.m. So I have to get up at 6 a.m. to be able to watch it. I don't know how long the episode is though.
Can somebody please figure out where this link is that Oliver keeps referring to?
Right.
Well, I think that will filter out links. That is a possibility because no one can see them.
Oh, Oliver, if you can, if you would be so kind, just leave it as a comment on the actual comment section for the video whenever you get around to it. But that would be great.
Yeah, so we're live. So everything that's in the live chat will not stay on the actual video. So you have to, once the live is done, then leave a comment and that will remain for everybody to see. So real quick, Tom says, do you guys think the 90 Impel PSA 9s are worth it at $20 and under a card, or is the pop still too high?
Oh, that's a good question. $20 and under?
All right, so here's my answer to it. If you want me to take it. Yeah. Grading is still more expensive than $20. So that's a factor. Will grading ever get back to $20 a card? Maybe, possibly. I think they want to. I just don't know if it will. And I think as time moves forward, there are a lot of people that go into complete sets of this, and it's going to be too expensive to do it all in PSA 10s. And I think 9s are going to be a good set filler for people. So if you're okay with kind of tight margins, so to speak, if you want to look at it from from an investment standpoint, could you buy it for 20 and maybe sell it for 40? Yeah, I think you can. So with those things in mind, I do think they're worth under 20 a card, because I will tell you, I'm going to get a shipment in of a bunch of cards, and there's a lot of them in there that I'm going to wish were 9s.
Oh, there's a lot that you're going to wish were 9?
Yes, for sure.
I love your answer to that question, by the way.
Okay, thanks. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I think that's terrific. I think 20 sounds good. I think you're right. A lot of those cards you can probably flip for a profit, or if you just wanted to build out the set of 9s, I mean, that's it's a pleasant way to go about it, because a set of 10s and then I don't know how much that's going to cost right now, and that's quite difficult to do.
Is Oliver fishing? He's on a cell phone fishing while he's listening to us. That's pretty cool.
Is he? We are honored, Oliver.
We are.
That's awesome.
Oh, Tom, you're welcome. Happy to help. Yeah, so nerdy car guy definitely thinks they're worth $20. Great deals there. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'm going to build a set. It's just too iconic of a set not to have, in my opinion. And I've got the cards. I want them to get graded.
Yeah, and a year and a half ago, when the PSA 10s out of that set were selling for at auction for $3,000, $20 is what people were paying for raw cards that graded out eights probably by now.
Yes. That's such a phenomenon what happened with 90MU. And a lot of it was a lack of education.
Well, I agree with that, but you know what else I noticed? I noticed that, like, Justin, you're really advanced in the world of cards, right? There's not that much there's not that much in the world of Marvel. I mean, you probably know a lot about a lot, but we're talking Marvel. There's not
Keep
that
on,
much in the world of
carry on. I'm
yeah,
enjoying this quite a bit.
there's not that
kidding.
much in the world. No, I hear you. There's not that much in the world of Marvel, though, that you haven't seen, that you haven't participated in, that you haven't maybe taken a liking to or developed an opinion about, right? But there are so many more people that have no clue about anything after the 90s. They don't. So when that pop happened, it was nostalgia driven. It wasn't logic. It was people like me that loved the 90s. I didn't know what was happening in 2015, and I couldn't even care, or whatever the saying is, right? Because I was so obsessed with the 90s. So when I started seeing that happen, like, I understand from the perspective of someone really advanced in the world of Marvel cards, you might look at 90MU and think, that's set? But if you're not advanced in the world of Marvel cards and what you're advanced in is nostalgia, collecting in the 90s, love, your inner youth, well, then you look at 90MU and it's everything. Because
Right.
you don't care. You're not comparing it to some recent, better, less printed. You're not. You're only comparing it to your own emotion. And what 90MU delivers to people that are my age is emotion, nostalgia, memory, like all of that. So logic went out the window and love and passion took over. And so I can understand it from a card, like, expert's perspective, why that's set. But from, like, just your average consumer perspective, man, that's a really impactful set. Like, it's more meaningful to a lot more people than any of the recent stuff, just because there's so many more people that are not exposed to the recent stuff compared to the people that remember the old stuff. And I think that's the phenomenon we saw play out. And then markets do what markets do, and things correct, and we saw that happen as well. But dang, 90MU still remains more appreciated than it was prior to that boom, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
that is true. And you had me have this thought. We need a nostalgia calendar, like, that says, what are the elements of nostalgia? Well, when you were this age,
Right,
when do you chase it when you're this age? And
right.
then I need like a calendar that says, okay, so in 2023, these people will reach this age. And so when they were that age, this is what they are going to want to buy. So that I can go ahead and buy it now
Yeah.
and be ready when it becomes their nostalgia.
That's why I
There,
always that the UF4 is going to be a big thing.
And just so everyone knows,
30 years from
UF4,
now, it's going to be nostalgia.
UF4 is the first appearance of Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Ultimate
Because
Fallout
this,
4, yes.
because this generation love Miles, like all of the kids now love Miles. And you can imagine what's going to happen in, like, when they are our age. And then when they are our age and all they have is the NFTs, and then there
Yeah,
is the physical comics, which are more rare, like they are their newsstand. So that is going to be something. So
I love it.
I
So,
agree.
so
yeah, and just
interestingly enough,
yeah, Gwen, Miles, Silk, I think these are going to be really, really big in 2 years' time. Bigger than now, even. Yeah, they're already
well,
bigger.
I mean, even if you're not younger in nostalgia, people already love it. Like, it's not my
Yeah,
childhood, but the most money I've ever
yeah,
spent on the comic book was
it's
Spider Gwen.
popular. It's already popular.
Mm.
So imagine what's going to happen later.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so much bigger than it is now. And there's going to be ups and downs, of course. Like the Derjevit variant, Marvelous Pack says Naj knows, and I'm going to tell you what, I agree.
100%.
Naj knows. 100%. Um, so of that Ultimate Fallout 4, you've got three versions that are the most significant, right? You have your first print that right now the 9/8's like $3,500, let's roughly
Mhm.
call it. You have the rarest of the rarest, where I'm just going to mention for fun, is the Newsstand. But putting a price on that is so ridiculous. A 9/6 just sold for 38,000, I believe was the actual price, and a 9/8 is rumored to have been sold for over 100,000. We actually know one of the owners of it, but we have no idea how much he paid for it. But let's just go ahead
One
and call it.
one of the owners, so there's fractional ownership in that book.
No, no, no. I only know one person that owns one, but I don't know of a fractional ownership opportunity in that book, actually.
Oh, because I would love to buy into a 9.8 newsstand
I
UF4.
would too. So if anyone listening, if that pops up, send us a link, please, because I'll buy a piece of that book.
Mm-hmm.
I've had quite a time trying to find one myself. In any case, so that one, let's say, is 100 grand, right? I mean, I'm talking easily that book's 100 grand. A 9/6 just sold for 40, and 9/8's going to sell for well above 100. And then you have the Dejevit variant. I mess up the last name, but it's that's how I
Dejevik
hear it pronounced.
is how I hear it as well.
Dejevik,
Dejevik.
Dejevik.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's a 1 in 25 retailer incentive, right? So what that means is for every, I think it's, yeah, 1 in 25. So for every 25 copies that a retailer ordered of the first print, they got one of those. And that book in a 9/8 right now is selling every single time it sells for right around 30,000. So the last three sales were 30 grand, two or three sales. And so now that's a $30,000 book. These are the three most important ways to collect Miles Morales' first appearance. There are other ways, but these are the three most significant in the community of like big dollar books. And that book's from 2011. The book's 10 years old,
Not
right?
old.
We are
No.
no, yeah, we're nowhere near the nostalgia curve. Like you could relate that back to cars as well, right? What you remember when you're 15 and some of the older cool kids used to drive, when you're 40, you're out buying it for three times more than what it cost when it was new, right? That is
Hmm.
the curve. You have to have the money and the memory. It's the double M's. So now that's what MM stands for, money and memory, right? And so but what I'm saying is that ultimate fallout situation, there's going to be massive ups and downs in the value for that book, uh, but over time, it's definitely going to be one of the most significant comic books, either of those three copies of our lifetime. Like I haven't seen a character have as big an impact as Miles Morales, And we're talking one of the coolest characters ever, Spider-Man, becoming like, cool point oh or cool point two. Kids got Jordans on. It's just different now. It's relatable. Well, I mean, it's relatable to today. And Peter Parker, back when Amazing Fantasy 15 came out, 19, I don't even know the year. What year is that, Naj? That's 62, 52? What is that?
62.
62. That was the language then, but now the narrative of life is entirely different. And he's Spider-Man. I think people have tried to reinvent plenty of characters, but no one has succeeded as well as Spider-Man was reinvented. And Miles Morales, man, that guy's a star. So yeah, there's going to be ups and downs, but those are going to be like 30 years from now. I'm going to be so excited to see what an Ultimate Fallout 4 sells for. Like that's going to be so exciting.
It.
Some people say, sorry, interrupting me just a
Mhm,
minute.
go ahead.
I was just going to add that some people say there are so many copies, there's over 3,000 copies of 9.8, and there are more
Yeah.
going to be graded. But the population of people who are fans and who are going to be able to afford it, whatever it's going to be, is going to be way more than that because there's only this many copies that were printed. They're not going to print more of the first print. There's the second print, and then there's a couple variants of the second print, and that is going to that is going to even have more value later on because they're going to be on demand as well. And then one of the reasons I believe that the ASM 300 kept rising in value is because there are so many copies of it and there are so many fans. So there's always sales happening. And when sales are happening, the value is always increasing little by little. It's a steady increase, but it's happening. And that is why the 9.8 of the ASM 300, even though whatever happened to the movie, people didn't like it. I don't know why, but it's still holding its value and it's still going to be over 5 grand, right? So the thing is, when there's lots of prints of a book that is so popular, it's always going to be on sale. And when it's always on sale, there's a chance that the price is going to increase all the time. And the steady increase is always going to happen. And it's a popular book, lots of chances to buy it all the time. Definitely something to invest on. And because as well, in a couple of years, like let's say in 20 years from now, collecting is changing. There's now the NFTs, right? And they are expensive. But the reason people may want to get the comics is because the physical ones is because they are rarer. So this could be like kind of, the situation where people will think, am I going to pay 1,000 or 2,000 for an NFT comic, or am I going to buy, let's say, 5 grand for a physical one, which is more rare, So this could be a situation that is possible to happen in 2 years. And I believe investing in Miles, whatever print it is, not necessarily the first print, is a great, great thing to do right now. So the second prints are really affordable still. And I think if someone doesn't have a UF4 at any grade, first print, definitely get the second print in higher grade. That's my opinion on that.
I think
Absolutely.
and just to speak into it, another reason why I think the Ultimate Fallout 4 is a great book is a lot of people want to own them to have it in their collection. They're not actually looking to flip it.
That's the key to maintaining the value. If someone sees something's worth 3,500 and everyone runs to sell it because they don't actually love it, well, it's not going to be 3,500 for very long.
Right. There's not this, but because of what it means to the holder of the book, there's not this desire to like, oh, price is up, time to sell. Boom. It's in a way, I love that you brought the AMS 300 because, it's one of those things like any, most modern comic book collectors want to have one of those in their collection, period.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't mean the others may not pass through, but they got to keep one on the wall because it's a requirement, right?
I don't have one. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah. You're failing.
I know. I am.
I sold mine only because the prices went down, so there's an opportunity to grab a high grade raw. So this is why I sold my graded one.
Oh, you're going to go high grade raw on an ASM? You're going to try your luck on an ASM?
On an ASM 300. I'm going to try to get at least.
I'm rooting for you. Do you want to hear my failed? I have a failed story here. Okay. So they're not all successes for Spidey here. So I had an 8.5 signed by Todd. It was a book I bought raw for 300. Didn't get it cleaned or pressed. It was the first book I ever sent to CGC personally. And he signed it, came back in 8.5 direct copy. Okay. Beautiful signature, the full Todd, full McFarlane. And, I started really wanting a Newsstand high grade, 9698, but I didn't want to pay at the time was like 5 grand for the book. They got up to like 8 or 9, I think at one time. But anyways,
wait, what are we talking about? Newsstand 9.8
of the AMS 300.
Newsstand 9.8 of the ASM 300 now is $20,000. But yes, let's carry on. Sorry.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. At that time, they were 5,000 plus,
and it was. Yep.
And I had a little money in crypto, and Bitcoin hit 60,000 one Sunday morning. Or I think it hit Saturday. I woke up at Sunday morning. It's 60,000. I went sell. And I bought a $1,000 raw Newsstand. That's what it was, $1,000. But it looked, like you said, you can't grade in a photo, but it looked clean. Like it was the cleanest one that I'd seen available around 1,000. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sell my 8.5 since I got this one now. And I sent it to CGC. Oh, got it cleaned and pressed, sent it to CGC. and waited. And I don't know, it was probably 6 months for it to come back, something like that at the time. Because this was like in COVID at this point. Uh, and it came back an 8.5, excuse me. It came back an 8.5. So I sold my signed 8.5, and now I have a newsstand not signed 8.5. And I'm of the opinion that if you're going to have a newsstand, it needs to be a 9.2 or higher to really be, newsstand worthy. But anyhow, so I'm still chasing a high grade copy of a newsstand.
Got you.
So,
I'm actually really. Oh, sorry, Naj, go ahead.
no, I was just saying it's a good cause. I'm rooting for you. I'm chasing a direct copy.
Oh, okay. So you see a newsstand, let me know.
Yes, I will definitely.
I think it's interesting that you said I didn't anticipate that you would say 9.2 or higher to actually have like significance in newsstand. I thought you would be more conservative and be like it has to be at least a 9.6 for the newsstand effect to matter. But yeah, the truth is, like Andrew added the other night, is it is trickling down into 9.4s and 9.2s depending on the book. I don't know in an ASM 300 if right now it's having that effect, but I know that I sold a 9.4 newsstand signed by Todd McFarlane, and it sold for a little higher than what the direct would, but it definitely didn't have a doubling effect or anything like that. And I don't even know if the 9.6s in the ASM are having the doubling effect at the moment, but that the book is quieted down just a little bit, even though a direct for $5,000 in a 9.8 is a pretty nice hold on its value, because a year and a half, 2 years ago, a direct 9.8 was about a $1,500 book.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
That's really impressive. And you're right, though, the directs did approach 9,000 up to $10,000.
That may have been what I was thinking about then.
Yeah, because the newsstands didn't come up too often. And there's a member in our community that actually took advantage of one of the last ones we saw come up on eBay for a good price, and it's actually signed by Todd McFarlane and Michelini. Is that how you pronounce Michelini? I think so. And I mean, he grabbed it for now a song.
I have a trading card of AMS 300 signed by Michelini, and it's pack pulled. It was, not signed after the fact.
Oh, that's sick.
I didn't know there are
Sorry, I had to throw that in while you were talking about Michelini.
No, yeah, that's sick. No, no, just to say, he bought that copy. That was a newsstand 9.8. The exact amount eludes, escapes me at the moment, but it was between $7,000 and $9,000. It was below 10, and at that moment, making that purchase, it was pretty ballsy. But then months and months later, 9.8 newsstand with no signatures ended up at I don't remember if it was Heritage or Comic Link. I don't know which auction it was, but it sold for like 17,500 or 21,000. I forget which sale happened when. And everyone was like, wow, like that's the newsstand effect. There's a YouTube channel. Jerry is his name. The YouTube channel is Team CGC 9.8. And he makes awesome videos. He's always putting out great videos, short, easy to consume, and you always want more. He's awesome. And one of the things that he always highlights, which is very smart to highlight, is the ratio of 9.8s in a particular book compared to the overall census. And he also categorizes it by year. Like a book that came out in 2011 is going to have quite a lot of 9.8s. It didn't have to survive for a very long time, and people were collecting high grade, right? So you might have a census where 70% of the books submitted are 9.8s. But when you're talking about an Amazing Spider-Man 300, that book is from the 80s, and for that era, which Jerry breaks it down to a science, but for that era, it has the strongest ratio where it's 5% of the overall census, which is now like 20 some odd thousand books on that census. I could be completely wrong, but it's that kind of number. But what I'm not wrong about, well, because I watch Jerry's videos, is that it's like a 5% ratio, and it might actually be coming down more than that. So the fact that it's so difficult to score that 9.8 is also why the 9.8 has the value, but it's also why The Newsstand 9.8 is actually selling for 4 times the cost of the direct. We do not see a 4x from direct to Newsstand on like 90 something percent of books. You'll see a 2x, you'll see a 75% increase. You'll see a 1.5% increase, 1.5 times, but you rarely or you never see that. And so I think the only books that are kind of moving that way, maybe it's just Amazing Spider-Man 300. The reason Ultimate Fallout 4 is so insanely expensive in a newsstand compared to its 9.8 counterpart, that's just because that book's a ghost. Like,
Yeah.
Go find a newsstand Miles Morales. You'll learn for yourself. It's just not there.
Yeah, go look on eBay and see if you can find one.
Right. And if you do find it, buy it. Just buy it. Don't
Yeah.
think twice. Buy it.
Tell yourself and buy
Yeah.
it. Don't look back.
Right.
What did Naj say?
Sell your house.
Yeah,
Tell your
there's
house and buy
actually
it.
one.
Don't look back.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't buy an already graded one unless you really got it like that. But if you see a raw one, grab it. I think there's a 9.4 right now on eBay for $30,000. Fun fact about it: as soon as it was listed, the I don't know who the guy is. So anytime I say the guy, I feel like I'm being disrespectful. Friends are not being disrespectful. I just don't know who the guy is. But as soon as the book was listed, I'm sure he got a bunch of followers, and then immediately he sent out a $20,000 offer, which I thought was rather aggressive, but he started quite high with his price, so it made sense, right? But you list a book for 30 grand, and then you have no conviction in it because hours later you sent out a $20,000 offer. I just think that's funny.
So it's a 9.4 newsstand at 20.
It's a 9.4 newsstand, Ultimate Fallout 4, currently listed for 30 grand. And since if you're watching it, you'll get offers from him, and he's already shot out an offer for 20.
And do you know what the grader notes are on it?
Oh no, I didn't even bother to dive into it. When I saw that it was $30,000, I realized, well, that's not going to be the way I'm going to enter into that book, so I didn't care. But actually, that's a really good point, because what if the grader's notes on it are just light bends to the front? Then maybe it's worth the 30,000 because you could turn it into 100,000.
Right. Yeah, and it sounds like he definitely wants somebody to make an offer. Maybe it's not 20.
He's open to an offer. It sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, I'd pay 5,000 for the book, and that's just me letting you, like, I would pay 5,000 for that book, and I would just do that. But that's just me, and that's probably me being way undervaluing that book. I mean, currently I know of 4 9.4s in that book. Like, I know where 4 9.4s are of that book. I know where 1 9.8 is, and I know who recently bought a 9.6. That's all I know about that book, but that's quite a lot to know. And that's enough for me to not spend crazy amount on a 9.4. I currently know where 4 of them are.
So the comic book community is significantly larger than the Marvel card community. But that sounds like a really, really small census.
Oh, that book doesn't exist. When that book doesn't exist, that is a very small census. Like, the rumor is that there's only 50 of those books in existence. That's the rumor.
Oh, like period.
No, period. No one's ever seen more than 2 in one room together. Well, I mean, that's an exaggeration for me to say.
Yeah,
but it's
CGC
that kind
has,
of book.
but not
CGC has. It's that kind of book. Like, when I say I would pay 5,000 for a 9.4, that's as an opportunist. That's me knowing I can buy it for 5. My money's safe. I can get out of it for way more.
Right.
It's worth way more than 5,000, the 9.4, but it's worth whatever someone's willing to pay. I would not be surprised if someone gave this gentleman on YouTube $15,000 for that book. I wouldn't be surprised at all. 40,000 9.6 just sold. Why wouldn't a 9.4 go for $15,000?
Well, here's why, it's intriguing to me, because we see the collectible industry having this huge gap that's happening. And the gap that's happening is your high grade or super rare, very desirable character, athletes, whatever collectible we're talking about, is getting a tremendous separation from, whatever the next tier is. Like, tremendous. We saw a 9.6, AF-15 sell for 3 point whatever million, right? And then whatever the next grade is, and 8.5 is significantly lower than that. Like, the gaps is just getting greater and greater and greater. So if you have a book that's already that rare, we've already talked about why it's that desirable and why everybody wants one in their collection. That 9.4 at 20 actually probably isn't that bad of a deal long term, you know?
Long term, it might not be. It might be the greatest buy of all time. That
So, but
20
it,
could turn into.
yeah. Anyway, it's such a rare book, and that's still not a bad grade. I know
No,
people
and
have their thoughts about 9.4s because, you were that close, right? At a 9.4.
right, yeah, and the perception of the grade changes entirely based on what book we're talking about, right? I don't want any 9.6s in my collection, but an AF-15 9.6 is $3.5 million. I want that book in a .5. You could give me a .5 AF-15.
I just
You
want the
know,
cover.
I just want the cover, dude. When that page, which page was it? It sold on eBay recently for like it was something. It
There's
was so
multiple
undervalued.
sales. There's multiple sales that have occurred this year at $7,000 to $8,000 graded, cover only.
I'd buy it. I would buy it. I've never even seen the cover only sell. I'd buy that thing.
And
That's crazy to say. I'd buy it though.
the reason I know there's that many is because I was researching because Spider-Man Metal, the trading card, said it's coming out in June. And one of their e-pack achievements that's ultimately going to end up on Upper Deck is that you can actually get an AF-15 cover in a 16 panel of comic cut cards.
You were
And
talking about that, yeah.
so I was just looking up, hey, what are these selling for? And CGC cover only, no grade, it just says CVR. They were selling for 7,000 to 8,000 a piece. And it was multiple sales.
I love it. The item that I was just talking about, Naj is going to remember this as well. It was only a few weeks ago. It was whatever. I forget the page. I think it's page 2. Maybe it's page 2. Maybe it's page 3. It's the page where Peter Parker gets bit by the spider.
Yeah.
It's the actual spider bite page. It sold for $1,700. What was I doing? Sleeping? How did I not bid on that?
Right. That's like when he becomes Spider-Man. So Scandell respectfully disagrees, but I don't know if
about what?
I'm sure it's with me. And I love him because his opinion matters. He's a very intelligent guy.
I want to know, Scandell, let's talk. I love your image. I don't know what that is.
So Scandell, he actually is in the movie industry and he creates animation. He's worked on a lot of big movie products. And so that's his created animation. It would make a great NFT, but that's kind of him, I guess. But he has a beard, so I guess that's if he shaves.
I was gonna say that's the Pixar version of him, but then I don't want to I don't know if he works for Pixar. That could be the competition. Right. But Scandell, if you work for Pixar, let's have lunch sometime. That's my neighborhood.
Yeah. So he's saying that that the 9.4 being a good buy at 20,000 would that be a good buy? I don't know. I just know that the industry is significantly headed towards your rare, higher grade stuff being just separating itself from the other collectibles.
I would like to ask Scandell, just speaking openly, what do you think is the right price for a 9.4 today? A Newsstand Ultimate Fallout 4 9.4 today. Would be curious to know what your opinion is on that. Yeah.
And I know he knows the book, and I know he knows comics like significantly. So I'm cool. Curious. And he's a pragmatic guy. Like he's not emotional about it. It's like boom.
Well, that we got to balance each other. We got emotional folks, we got pragmatic folks, and when we all come together, have a conversation, hopefully we'll get something right.
I think it's going to depend on if he's buying or selling.
Right. I guess that's an interesting one. So today we're just focused on the perspective of
buying.
of the buying. Yeah, we're talking from the perspective of the buyer. As a seller, yeah, I'm going to list it for 30 grand. You know. Oh, he wasn't commenting on the Newsstand. Well, this is your show now, Scandell. We're all waiting to find out what exactly you were commenting on because we want to know.
Yes. Specifically, I was commenting on the Newsstand.
Yeah. No one's trying to pay $30,000 for a 9.4 UF4. That's maybe $800, $1,000.
Yes,
something.
Scandell. I think so. Yeah, we agree that if you own an Ultimate Fallout 4, you really want to own it in a 9.8. If you're looking at the first print, I think we all are on that page.
Ideally, you want the 9.8, even though $3,500 does put it out of the qualifying realm for a lot of collectors. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But ideally, you do want a 9.8. It's a modern book. I'd take a 9.6. I'd stash a 9.6 long term, but I'd probably trade the 9.4. Yeah.
I have a 9.6, and I have a 9.6 in the variant of the second print. It took me a while to figure that out.
Right.
But I have 9.4s. I have another 9.4 of the first print and another 9.4 of the second print. So I still need a 9.8 of the second print. And I don't know why I've waited around. I need to go ahead and grab that before it eventually makes the change that Naj talked about it might have.
It could. And some of the price history on that book before the peak of the comic book thing was like June, July last year, something like that. That book had gotten to $1,400. So we're talking second print, 9.8. It had gotten to, there was a few $1,400 sales, and this is after it started its rise from 300 up, got to 1,400 and pulled back, and it started floating around 700. I think today a 9.8 second print, I think you can have one for $800 maybe. And I don't think that's bad. Like, I think that's really cool. And if you buy it for 800 and let's say the market ticks back to 500, I mean, your feelings aren't that hurt, but there's a good chance that it becomes a $1,500 book again. This is not financial advice. Spend on whatever makes you happy. But I think a second print Miles Morales is an excellent buy anywhere below $1,000, because over time it's going to be worth over $1,000. My personal beliefs.
Oh, Scandell, I want to see you open that. If you don't open it on your channel, he's got an AMS 300. He just got back from CGC.
Man.
And then we got the great.
You gonna give us any hints? I want to know what the grade is. Tell us something. Sorry, Scandell, I'm on your case. I apologize, man. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, and I don't. So.
Oh, Blaine said he's got to leave. He said he'll catch the rest. Blaine is Key Comics on Instagram. He's awesome.
Blaine.
Thank you, Blaine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Scandell, Blaine's got a 9.4 Wizard for sale in case anyone wants a Wizard 1 9.4. He's selling one. Go beat him up over the price. I shouldn't have said that. Don't beat him up. Give him what he's asking. He's a good person.
Scandell, I will gladly join you. It just depends on the time tomorrow. Happy to. And Manu and Naj, do y'all know my friend Daniel, the great curator?
I know him because I've seen him on some of your videos. I think I followed him once. He didn't follow me back. My ego got hurt. I unfollowed, but I didn't know him personally. Now I know him personally. I'll follow him again.
He said tenderize him. So he's really great on TikTok as well. He does TikToks that remind me of some of Naj's. They're really fun. But he's a great guy. He's in Cali. He's in the LA area. And he's into sports and he's into non-sports and some comic books. He really he does whatever he wants. He's into wrestling, and I just can't get there.
Like, he's actually into wrestling, or is in wrestling cards?
Wrestling cards. You can't tenderize the tenderizer, Charles. Yeah. So when he tenderizes you, that means you're negotiating and he wins in negotiating. That's what he's talking about, tenderizing. Hey, look, Oliver's with you in the newsstand conversation.
Says best to own and worth more than direct. The elites know this. They buy them up in any condition and store them. Hulk 181 was once in the dollar bins. There you go.
You got it. Get the great curator.
The great curator. If I follow you, will you follow me back?
He's stingy with his follows.
You can just be honest. You can say I won't follow you back. You can say I won't, and that's fine. I might still follow you. I might appreciate the honesty.
I have a question for you guys. So would you rather a 9.6 newsstand copy of whatever book or a 9.8 direct?
Say it again. Question one more time, Naj.
9.6 newsstand copy or a 9.8 direct edition?
9.8 direct for me for most books.
Not the 4.
No, not the UF4. That's a weird anomaly.
Yeah,
Yeah, the great
What
curator said he needs to check my post first. Yes, but do that after the live. Don't leave the live just yet. But I'll get in touch with you, my friend. I think we'll be just fine, you and I. Naj, sorry.
Yeah, I'm with Manu on most books, but there are a few where I would gladly take a 9.6 newsstand because I have a strong sense that I'll be able to pick up the 9.8 direct somewhere else down the road.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I guess yeah, I'm gonna stick with my answer as like a blanket statement. The nuances for, specific scenarios, I will break apart from that. But for a blanket statement, I'll stick with mine. Generally speaking, I would still take a 9.8 direct over the 9.6 newsstand because I am equipped with the confidence that I can I can still grade the 9.8 newsstand too.
Yeah,
was the master of the
yeah,
9.9
yeah.
news?
You are the 9.9 newsstand guy. That's for
I
sure.
still haven't graded a 9.9 in anything though. Naj is nailing tens left and right. I can't get a 9.9 out of nothing.
It was just beginner's luck. It was my first PVC submission, and I got a 10. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. That happened.
Oliver wants the 9.6 newsstand because he's just going to clean it, press it, and resubmit.
Hey, and the truth about that is it's so doable. If you got a 9.6 that looks 9.8-ish, three times
Yeah.
out of five, it probably gets the 9.8 when you submit it,
Yeah.
But there's some 9.6s that look like 9.2s, but Oliver knows what to crack and press. He is the professional.
Well, Modern Crime and Car says enjoying all the panel guests tonight. Congrats, because I wouldn't be able to concentrate on anything Marvel. Look, we're really here to distract you from the spoiler news that's coming out about Doctor Strange.
So that's a movie that's coming out tomorrow?
It's coming out Thursday. Well, for me here where I'm at, it's coming out Thursday, and I'm gonna go see it at 7 p.m. I'm excited.
Okay.
I got to watch Moon Knight first in the morning, though. So, are you not going to go see it, Manu? Like, are you?
I didn't even know there was a movie coming out tomorrow, so no, I don't think I'm going to work that into my plans.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
I don't know who Doctor Strange is, my friend. Like,
Stop.
I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know where he comes from. I don't have an emotional connection with Doctor Strange, and so it's hard for me to invest in learning. It's just hard.
So you're only into what you're into. You don't even spread out.
Not well, I think part of the reason I have success in what I do is because of like what you said. I'm not spread too thin, but it's not even, I don't even know what it is. I only follow my gut. I don't know what I love, but I love it, and that's the only thing I pursue. I didn't know I was going to go crazy about Simpsons books. I am bananas about Simpsons books right now. Like,
yeah.
what I'm doing that people aren't seeing is intense, and it's like, well, I didn't see this coming.
My daughter has watched all 30. I'm not exaggerating. Is it 30 seasons? And maybe more now.
I can't believe they're still going. My goodness.
30 plus seasons of Simpsons twice.
Wow.
But it's her thing that she has going on in the background like it all the time.
So great curator says kick me off the live right now, which means he's not going to follow me as well.
Hey, he loves the Simpsons too. See, look, I told you. Okay, he's got my attention now. He likes Simpsons.
You know what? I want to talk. What is it? I don't need to know his actual name. He wants to be known as the great curator. He is the great curator. TGC, this is for you, TGC. So I don't know if you are like dealing with Simpsons books right now, but I would like to say, actually, I'm going to DM you. I'm sorry, guys. All right,
yeah,
I'm going to DM you.
Hey, no, seriously, it would serve
curator.
him. It would serve him if you DM'd him. That way, it gives
I'm
him
going
a chance to do
to
some
DM.
research.
Yeah.
And what I know,
all jokes aside, there is something I want to talk to you about, so I'll DM you.
Here's what I know about Daniel. I like to call him Daniel, the great curator. If he feels like he's going to serve the broader community, he'll eventually let everybody know. But he'll give him a chance to process it,
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And I don't want to, I don't want to shake up too much at the moment, only because there are some there's some variables that I don't want to be too confident about at the moment, so
Right.
I don't want to speak
And
on
let me
it.
tell
But
you,
once,
I've
yeah.
learned my lesson the hard way, where I was after something, brought it up publicly, it was over with.
I got see this comment that you just made about I only want Radioactive Man 1 for the culture. If you know, you know. I'm really proud of myself for knowing what why. Anyway, this is
I'm all right. I'm impressed. If you know, you know. I did not know what iki meant, but I'm glad I
Hey,
do
but
now.
you know Doctor Strange, right? So I know Iki, and you know Doctor Strange, and so but when I do DM you, the great curator, I'm going to talk about Radioactive Man 1. I'm going to talk about something that recently happened, and I'm going to talk about something that I firmly believe is about to happen. I think we're going to have some fun. Oh, Radioactive Man 1, if you know, you know, it's Japanese. I'm not sure. He's going to educate me for sure. I definitely don't know as much as you know about The Simpsons. I will tell you that much right now. That's a fact. But I did not know Radioactive Man 1 was Japanese.
Is
I
it
didn't
like
either.
the comic is written in Japanese because the cover is English? I didn't know
Is it was we'll talk more. We'll figure more out about that. But I love Radioactive Man 1. Super excited about it. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Carrying on.
So modern crime and cards, and we should mention Neil Adams, right?
Rest in peace, a legend amongst legends. Absolutely.
Yeah, Neil Adams is you know, it's just fantastic art. And I love going back and looking at the old Batman covers and figuring out which ones were Neil Adams art. And yeah, but that's not all he did. I mean, he's done a lot more than that. That's just probably what I think he's probably most famous for the Batman covers. What about you guys?
Yeah. That's I would say so because I don't collect too much Batman stuff, but
Mhm.
when Epic Comicology was telling me, you know, for months and months about some of his favorite artwork, anytime I would sometimes there's books that come into my collection that don't have a place in my collection, but they're incredible to people that really appreciate them. And I forget that most recently were some Neil Adams Batman books, right? Including that really popular horror style cover. I forget the issue name. I'm going to get beat up for that, but people know the book that I'm talking about. And
First, it's got Ra's al Ghul on the cover, but it's got the Batman. Yeah, the whole thing. It's a
I'm the
beautiful.
one with the castle in the back, like
Mhm.
the castle, the windy road, the clouds. And so, and you know, I was like, well, I'm not going to keep this book. And Taj would refer to it as, you know, the Neil Adams cover because I would never refer to it as if I knew what I was talking about. He would
Right.
always just like be like, "That's Neil Adams, man. That's not just some book." Okay.
No, it's classic.
Yeah.
All right, so apparently, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't know, but
No,
if you
no,
know, you
that's
know.
funny. The Japanese thing, yeah, he was just making fun of the iki when you said it that way.
I got it.
That's what Japanese is, and that has nothing to do with Radioactive Man.
Right. Oh, we got Forest Moon Collectors here. Awesome.
What's going on? Hello,
From
hello.
Australia. One of the cleanest IG walls you'll ever see.
Oh, I want to see it then. I'm
You,
going to screenshot this.
yeah. You know how you keep your IG wall clean?
I try.
I know you do. I'm acknowledging your effort. I see it and it's good.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes.
Um, I don't have the discipline because I'm like, I need to post what I need to post. Like, what if I need to mix it up? But not
Right.
Forest Moon. There is, I mean, it is as clean as it gets.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. As soon as this live's over, I'll be over there.
That's really nice.
Oh, I
I'm
never
there
knew
already.
this. Oh, you're looking at it. You seeing how clean it is?
Oh, show me again, Naj. Sorry. Oh, very cool.
It's
Very cool.
all Star Wars.
Wait, do I follow that page?
You probably
Maybe,
do.
maybe not.
You probably
Maybe.
do.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
It's a cool story, Modern. Well, guys, we've reached 2 hours.
Yeah.
How do we do this?
I don't know.
Fine.
Naj, how was your first experience?
I mean, guys, you are amazing. You know that. You know what I think of you, and this was an amazing opportunity to be here with you, Justin. Thank you for letting us both be here. And it was an amazing to meet Manu. This is the first time we have like an actual conversation. So this is cool. This is so nice.
We did it. We did it.
Well,
Yeah.
such an honor to have both of you here. But Naj,
How much here?
for you tonight specifically, thank you so much. Really, really do
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Manu, man, I love it every time getting to hang out with you.
Justin, thank you for making this happen, bringing us together. You know, you are the force behind this, and just thank you.
Well, let's
Naj, thank you for coming.
keep it going. Everybody in the chats, all you viewers, I mean, you make it what it is. Like we would have
Dude,
fun,
yeah.
but you really lift it up to a whole nother level. So thank you for engaging with us and being in the comments. If you haven't done so, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit the like button so other people get to see Naj on camera, because it does help out. And if you like this kind of content, we're bringing this every Tuesday night. This is a thing now. We've done this 3 Tuesdays in a row.
We've
No,
done
because
it
we're
3
doing
Tuesdays in
feedback.
a row.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
It's a
You're
thing.
great.
It's a thing. And so, yeah, looking forward to doing it again next Tuesday. Keep an eye on the channel. Got some content that's going to be coming this weekend. Got some stuff happening Friday night that I think you all will enjoy. Some box breaking and then some PSA reveals. So, looking forward to sharing that with you guys. For all you moms out there, happy Mother's Day this weekend. And
Happy
if you
Mother's Day.
don't remember, get your mom something nice. And anyways, everybody, thank you. Manu, do you know what we say when we leave?
Have a marvelous day.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
I was unsure about the day part. I was like, it's
You
nice.
nailed it. Yep. As always, have a marvelous day, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.